We're running the 562 here. What's up, YouTube? It's frickin' raining here, and I just got back from a firewood haul. I didn't get very much. I was getting rained on. I normally bring the firewood back here to my house all bucked up, and I leave the mess in the bush. But today I bucked her in lengths and I carried her into the truck, and I'm gonna do a little video on how I measure firewood. A couple little tricks you can try out if you're collecting firewood and you're bucking to a certain length. I'll get the wood off the truck here, and then we'll take a look at a couple things that I do. Okay, like I said, I went out for some firewood. I get off work, I only have a couple hours to start collecting firewood for the winter, and that's how I do it. I just go out a couple hours here and there. I grab truckload. I shoot for a truckload. Today that wasn't the case. It poured, and I was dunsies, so I came back. I usually do all the cleanup in the woods. I buck to length. I cut my firewood at 16 inches. I used to just eyeball it, to be honest, but I started selling bagged firewood, and your measurements got to be pretty precise when you're using the jig to fill your bags. So I started measuring it. Now, I'll tell you, when I first started measuring firewood to cut in the woods, I used one of these and one of these, and every 16 inches I'd make a mark, and that's where I'd cut. Now, as you can imagine, or if anybody's ever done that, it's not very productive. There's a lot of time bending over, measuring. So I started to search for different ideas, and I went to logging tape for a bit. Carry that on my belt, which I still use logging tape if I'm gonna grab lengths for the truck. I have a 6 3/4 foot box. I'll usually measure my lengths to 6 feet, carry them, throw them in the truck. So logging tape is handy for that. But still, you're bending down, you're marking. If I was going to do 16 inches with the logging tape, if you have this style of logging tape I do, you know, every 16 inches, you see where that diamond is, the red diamond, that's your 16 inches. So you mark there. One of my favorite channels there is called In the Woodyard. You guys probably watch it too. And the fellow off that channel, he took his saw, he wrapped his zip tie around it, and you know, he measured to whatever length he was cutting, and that worked. I did that, and then, you know, you're coming. So basically, you're just following the log down as you go with the zip tie. And I did that for a long time. I had these on all my saws, and I doubled them up, and I'd put little orange tape and stuff on it just so I could see it better. But, you know, when you start falling trees and using your saw for tree jobs and things like that, you're constantly cutting these off, or they're getting in the way. Sometimes when you store the saw, it bends, and It started to get to great method, but just for me and the stuff I use my saws for, just a little bit of a pain in the butt. So, and I was looking for something that I could just take off and on, something a little more rigid. So I came up with this little device. It's just a old cheap clamp, wood clamp, that I put a pretty rigid thick piece of plastic on there, marked it with a little bit of tape just so I could see it better, and then I just zip tied and taped it on there. You know, now I just clip it on the saw. It's measured to length, 16 inches. Okay, you can measure if you're doing 20s or you're doing 12s, whatever, however you like to cut your wood. But when I didn't want to use it anymore, I just took it off. It's as simple as that. And that's what I used for, I still use that. It depends what I'm doing, but part of the, when you're doing the bagged firewood, now I'm measuring from the handle. Sometimes I'd get the wood back home. It wasn't quite bang on. It was either it was either too big or too small. And I'm talking by like just a hair. And the jig is set up for 16 inches. So if I was a little light, if I was 15 3/4, that was no problem. I made it work. But you know, if I was a little over, then obviously that wood wasn't going into bagged firewood. So I'd use the wood for my personal use or truckload sale or something. So this is another great little device, and it works. It's just stuff lying around the shop. Got it done. Now this thing was, I bought it off Amazon. This thing was $38 Canadian. Okay, so I was a little hesitant to buy it. It's not much, but I said, you know what, to hell with, nothing to lose. So this is pretty cool. This magnet's really strong, way stronger than I expected. Okay, you see that? Like, that's on there. Boom. That ain't coming off. Okay. This little device here, you know, is what you know, you probably could make one of these, to be honest, if you you had a strong magnet. But I bought it, and it was money well spent for me. I don't have any regrets. This thing's working better than any of those other things I've showed you so far. So if I can figure it out, I'll put the link in for Amazon, or check it out on Amazon. But that, how's she going? That was the ticket. So now that it stopped raining, I'm just gonna quickly buck this up and we'll split it up another day. And like I said, it was just a light wood haul tonight. It was just nice to get out and run the saw after work. It's kind of like therapy for me. The volume thing doesn't bother me. I'll go out another day and pack a lunch and bring home a quart or two. But tonight I just wanted to run the saws and kind of just start getting the wood pile a little bit stocked up here as we roll into winter. But anyway, have a good night, everyone.